Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 2717A, and today's date is March 3rd, 2022, and the title of the episode is Biden Admin Confirmed the Transition Boomerang Coming. Let's talk about protecting your wealth. If you watch regularly, you'll know that Noble Gold is one of our sponsors. They now have thousands of clients who found the secret of gold and silver for their retirement plans here. And for the month of March, with any qualified IRA above $20,000, you'll get a 3-ounce silver American Virtue coin or a 5-ounce America the Beautiful silver coin for anything over $50,000. You know what to do. Call 877-646-5347. That is 877-646-5347, or go to noblegoldinvestments.com or click the link in the description. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, the deep state, the private Western Central Bank, the corrupt politicians, they just confirmed everything that we believed, that everything that we're witnessing, everything that is going on right now, they're using this opportunity to bring us into the Great Reset, into the Green New Deal. Actually, we've heard from Granholm, Energy Secretary, letting us know that, yes, this is the transition. So basically what they're doing, they're using this event to push their agenda. Now, think about what the private Western Central Bank, what the corrupt politicians tried to do during the pandemic. They tried to use that event to push us to where they wanted us to go. Did it work? Was the world shut down for 5, 7, 9, 10 years? No. Actually, Trump countered that. Just like everything else. They do believe that, wow, we can use this. This is going to be perfect, and we can bring everyone into the Green New Deal. We'll have fuel prices rise really high, and people will beg us to have some other form of energy. But once again, this is going to boomerang on them, because what they think they're doing, what their plan is, it's going to backfire on them. They think this is going to continue. They think that they have the upper hand. Actually, it's going to work in reverse and actually expose the private Western Central Bank and the deep state players. Because we could see already that the economy is imploding. Remember, Trump told us inflation is going to destroy the economy. Remember, inflation is the fiat killer. It destroys fiat. The way you look at it, the way you use it, it does not help fiat in any way, because as wages continually stay the same or they decline, and we see the devaluation of the currency, people can see this very, very clearly, especially with fuel prices moving up. People can see this very, very clearly. And remember, they have nothing in place. So they just admitted that they want the fuel prices to move up. They wanted this to happen because we need to bring everyone into this new arena where there's new energy, and we're going to keep doing this. But we know from the World Bank, there's nothing in place. So even if the people say, okay, stop this, they have nothing. They won't be able to. Yes, they can say this is the perfect time to do this. But the people are going to say, okay, what are you going to do in the meantime? Because right now, gas is at 7. Then maybe in a couple months, it'll be at 9. Then 10, and people are, to fill up their tank, they're going to be spending what, $139, $159, $200 just to fill it up. Yes, the deep state players, the corrupt politicians, the private Western Central Bank, yes, they want this to happen, but the people's reaction is going to be very, very different. Now, think about without all of this happening right now. Think about if they had this incredible cover story. What would that cover story be? Well, it would be a war. Could they bring us into the Green New Deal? Yes, because there's a war. We know with wars there are shortages. We know that credit freezes up. We know that you can't get fuel. We know all these things can happen. The United States is not at war. The United States can be energy independent. We don't have to depend on oil all around the world. Trump already proved this. He already let us know that this is possible. Biden, when he came in and everyone saw this happen, he decided, you know something? We're not going to be energy independent. We're going to depend on other countries. You see what Trump did right there? He showed everyone the truth. You see, before Trump, everyone thought we couldn't be energy independent. And if this was Hillary Clinton right now, because remember, we were coming off Obama, Everyone go, wow. See, now we definitely need something different because we can't be energy independent. We depend on other countries, and we have to have something different. But people saw that we could be energy independent. All you have to do is reestablish the Keystone Pipeline, go ahead and reinstate the leases, and start production up again. And fuel prices would come down. Why? Because we wouldn't be importing from other countries like Russia or other countries. But now the people can see this. The people can see this very, very clearly. So they didn't have a cover story of a war. The other cover story was a global economic shutdown with the pandemic. Yes, could they make the case? Oh, yes, fuel prices are going up because the global economy shut down. Yes, you can't get food. Credit's freezing up. It's because of this pandemic. We're going to have to move into something different. This is the perfect time. Yes, people probably would have gone along with this. But they don't have that either. All they have right now is this little skirmish out in Ukraine where Putin is destroying their money laundering operation, the biolabs and everything else, destroying their slush fund. And the people are looking at this and, okay, we have this little skirmish in Ukraine. Why can't we just be energy independent? Because there's nothing ready right now. We don't have to go through this. We don't have to experience this. Trump already proved it. He already showed the people the truth. And the truth is going to be brought out into the open because look what's happening already. The economy right now is completely falling apart, and the IHS market, that's M-A-R-K-I-T, market, not the market, but IHS market, they're already reporting that the GDP numbers are contracting, which means we are heading into a recession. Now, we're going to feel the recession before the stats actually show that we're in a recession because they have to go backwards in time. They don't project out, into the future saying, okay, here comes a recession. What these things do is once you're in the recession, a couple months afterwards, they go back and say, oh, look, yeah, we're in a recession. That's what they did back in 2008, 2009. They did it back in the 70s, in the 80s, in 2000, every time we hit a recession. So right now, everything is contracting. And as we see inflation, as we see fuel prices move up, this is going to be a complete and utter disaster on the economy. And Trump, he did warn us. So there's no cover story. Everyone knows that we can be energy independent, that we don't have to go through this. And people now are questioning this. But we know from Energy Secretary Granholm, she already admitted that, yes, this is the transition. We're doing this on purpose because we want to bring everyone to the Green New Deal, where we have windmills and solar panels that are not going to power anything. Actually, it's going to cost a lot more to destroy the field. It's going to destroy all of it because think about the number of acres that you need to erect solar panels. And where are we getting these solar panels? Oh, wait, China? Think about this. And nothing can be just switched over in a split second. So basically, she's letting everyone know that, yes, you're going to suffer through this, and there's nothing we can do. But there is something they can do. Why not turn everything back on? See, that wouldn't push people into going into the Green New Deal. They know this. Let's talk about protecting your wealth. If you watch regularly, you'll know that Noble Gold is one of our sponsors. They now have thousands of clients who found the secret of gold and silver for their retirement plans here. And for the month of March, with any qualified IRA above $20,000, you'll get a 3-ounce silver American Virtue coin or a 5-ounce America the Beautiful silver coin for anything over $50,000. You know what to do. Call 877-646-5347. That is 877-646-5347, or go to noblegoldinvestments.com or click the link in the description. But the people also know that's all they have to do. So now they're completely exposed. And of course, Biden was out there letting everyone know, see, look, all the companies now, they're investing a lot of money to build electric vehicles. And he said, Ford is investing $11 billion to build electric vehicles, creating 11,000 jobs across the country. GM is making the largest investment in its history, $7 billion to build electric vehicles, creating 4,000 jobs in Michigan. Now, think about all the jobs that were lost with the Keystone Pipeline, the leases that were discontinued, and everything else. This doesn't replace any of this. Actually, those people that worked on the Keystone Pipeline, they didn't get any of the new Green New Deal. Oh, wait, there are none right now. So they were just let go But Elon Musk decided to respond to Biden, and he said Tesla has created over 50,000 U.S. jobs building electric vehicles and is investing more than double GM and Ford combined. FYI to the person controlling this Twitter. He continually hits back at all these people. It's unbelievable. But you can see the central bankers, they're very, very nervous. They're worried about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. And now you can see this clear as day. Before they said, oh no, criminals use it. Don't worry about it. We're not worried about it. We're just trying to protect you. But look what they're doing right now with Russia, because now you can see it very, very clearly. European finance ministers will take unspecified measures to prevent Russia from using crypto technologies to dodge the financial sanctions that the EU has imposed against Russia. So right now, they're very worried about crypto because why? They can use cryptocurrency to bypass everything. So what are they trying to do? Are they trying to ban it or are they trying to control it? They're trying to implement regulations and they're trying to make sure that no corporation or bank ever uses it. But do you need banks or corporations? No, you really don't. And this could be bypassed very, very easily. And this is what they're nervous about. This is what they're afraid of. Because what's happening? Well, the SWIFT confirms it will disconnect Russian banks under EU sanctions from the international payment system on March 12th, which sets everything up. Remember, to get out of this private Western Central Bank system, you need to do what? You need to get rid of the Federal Reserve note. You need to expose fiat. You need the people to see that this fiat system doesn't work. The currency that you're currently holding is devaluing, and it's getting worse and worse. And as time goes on, the currency is going to be worth absolutely nothing. And think of the timing of all of this. Think about what has been happening. During the pandemic, what happened? Governments, central banks, the central banks were printing like crazy. Government, they were spending like crazy. They were handing out stimulus. They raised the debt of their country. And now we're seeing inflation because of all the stimulus, because of all the currency that's in circulation, which devalues the currency. And the central banks, they really can't stop this. Now, on the other hand, the central banks, the World Economic Forum, they're going to try to use this to their advantage. This was their plan from the beginning. The problem is that the world economy is not shut down. The people aren't suffering. And people can see it all. But think about the timing. Was this timed at this moment to start removing the Federal Reserve note as the reserve currency of the world? I do believe so. It seems that everything is flowing in that manner. And Kaneko the Great, he put this out on his Substack. So let me just read a portion of this. And this is what he says. He says, why is this all happening now? This is all happening at the last stages of something that I've written extensively about called the long-term debt cycle, a time period characterized by high debt levels, near zero interest rates, and extreme money printing. When interest rates hit the floor at zero marks, the beginning of the end of the long-term debt cycle and the start of a deleveraging period where central bankers begin to devalue their currencies. With interest rates at zero, policymakers only have two remaining options: quantitative easing, printing money and buying financial assets, or printing money and putting it directly into the hands of the people in the form of stimulus payments. For example, both the 2008-2009 global financial crisis and the 1929-1933 Great Depression coincide with interest rates hitting the 0% floor. In response to both, the Federal Reserve printed money, devalued the dollar, and bought financial assets. This currency devaluation period ends when inflation rises and central banks can no longer print money or keep interest rates at zero. Russia is one of the world's largest exporters of oil, with the United States importing more than 600,000 barrels per day. Russia oil represents more than a third of Europe's total imports. There are four main countries that purchase the majority of Russia's crude oil: the Netherlands, Germany, Poland, Belarus. In 2017, these four countries accounted for 70% of the total export volume. Other countries that have some of the largest exports in 2020 include Italy, Finland, and Slovakia. Russia is also one of the world's largest gas exporters. The countries in Europe that receive the highest percentage of these natural gas from Russia include North Macedonia, 100%, Finland, 94%, Bulgaria, 74%, Slovakia, 70%, Germany, 49%, Italy, 46%, Poland, 40%, France, 24%. Russia is the world's largest supplier of wheat, and together with Ukraine accounts for 29% of the global wheat trade and nearly 20% of the global corn trade. In response to Western sanctions on Russia, China has relaxed restrictions on imports of Russian wheat. This agreement provides Russia with a secure buyer at a time when exports to other countries might be complicated by financial sanctions or other disruptions. Furthermore, Russia is the largest exporter of fertilizer in the world, with the United States importing 700 million of fertilizer from Russia every year. War, sanctions, or disruptions in Russia fertilized markets will have a significant impact on the price of food across the globe. The United States and Europe cannot sanction Russia's oil and gas industries unless they want to face massive inflationary crisis that pushes energy prices through the roof in their own countries. Without Russia oil, gas, and wheat, Europeans will suffer a cold and hungry winter. With Russia's economy depending heavily on price of gas, oil, and commodities, Putin may have tactically assessed the global market is at the turn of commodity supercycle. Commodities increasing in price and historically undervalued to equities, and decided that his economy could manage the sanctions if his invasion led to the price increases in the commodities that his country depends on. Remember when Trump said, oh, Putin's coming in, he doesn't care about these ridiculous sanctions, they're really not going to cost him anything? I do believe he was saying this because the commodities are going to rise like we've never seen before. Look what gold is doing right now. Look what Bitcoin is doing right now. We're going to see wheat and other things start to move up drastically. Let me just continue here. Thanks to the incompetence of the U.S. and the EU policymakers, Western nations have foolishly dismantled their own energy independence in exchange for Russian oil and gas. As a consequence, Russia and China have invaded Ukraine with the ultimate goal of sparking increased inflation in the West, increasing the cost of food and energy, and speeding up the global process of de-dollarization. Now, think about it. This is, when we say de-dollarization, this is not the U.S. dollar. See, everything that you're holding in your hand, that piece of paper, it's not the U.S. dollar. The Treasury does not print it. It's printed by the Federal Reserve. It's loaned to the U.S. government, and the people pay interest on that piece of paper. If you look at top, it's a Federal Reserve note. So this is not the people's money. It's the Federal Reserve's money, which they're loaning us to use, just like a loan shark. No difference. And we're in the process of removing the Federal Reserve note, not removing the dollar, but removing the Federal Reserve note. And I do believe this is the beginning stages of all of this. All the pieces are put into place. Because how do you destroy a system that is so large and so deep, so wide? How do you get rid of it? Well, you need a plan. And you need to push the central bankers to exactly where you want them. You need to expose them. People need to see it all. They need to see the inflation. They need to see the higher fuel costs. They need to see all this so they say, wait a minute, what's going on here? We know that Biden can stop this. We know that the fuel prices don't have to be this high. But why is there inflation then? Is there a problem with the central bank system? Why can't he stop that? And I do believe in the end what's going to happen is we're going to have the Federal Reserve pointing the finger at the Biden administration pointing the finger at the Federal Reserve, because no one's going to want to take the blame when things start to really fall apart. And this is the beginning stages of removing the private Western Central Bank, because if commodities are moving up, gold, silver, Bitcoin, and everything else, what is this going to show everyone? It's going to show everyone the truth. Listen, everyone, thanks for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.